This is the latest series of interfaces from Arturia. And when I say series, I actually kind of mean it. It includes the MiniFuse 1, MiniFuse 2, which this one is, and the MiniFuse 4. They're basically all the same, just with each level up, you get more ins and outs. But are they any good? And is it better than the Scarlett series of interfaces? Because, let's be honest, that's exactly who Arturia is going after here. So let's find out. I love my Arturia AudioFuse Studio, which is their top-end prosumer interface, the one I've been driving for about a year. Companies have even offered to replace it with theirs for free, and honestly, I've said no to all of them. Now, there's a few out there that I would swap it for, but honestly, why? It's a beast and it does everything I need it to. That said, this MiniFuse was sent to me by Arturia, but no, I'm not keeping it because, well, frankly, I don't need it. But stay tuned to the end of the video because, well, you might need one. This thing is decent, and I mean that. Wraparound metal on the body, much like the Scarlett, but almost not as nice, kinda. Very metal box feeling like. It has a plastic front faceplate and backplate, much like the Scarlett. The inputs and knobs, they all feel fine. In fact, there's a decent amount of tension on those knobs, and they're slightly rubberized, which is a nice touch. Literally. The lights on the thing are not really intrusive, and they're a light blue, and yes, they do also turn red when you peek. On the front of the unit, you basically have the usual suspects, nothing out of place here. But on the back is where it starts to set itself apart. Not just the monitor outs, but there's also a MIDI in and out, as well as a USB hub, which is really cool to see. And that leads us into the specs. This thing is impressive, I'm not going to lie. And honestly, the specs go toe-to-toe with the Scarlett 2i2. Literally. Frequency response 20 Hz to 20 kHz. Sample rates from 44.1 all the way up to 192 kHz. 24-bit. 2 in, 2 out. 56 dB of gain. Dynamic range of 110 dB. And the one spec it actually beats the Scarlett at, you probably won't even notice. The EIN is negative 129 dBu A-weighted. Now for the record, the Scarlett is neg 128 dBu A-weighted. So this is the SM7B test for the Arturia MiniFuse 2. And this is what it sounds like. This is with it gained up and decent levels. Actually, not too bad. And what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you the levels before I gained up and the levels after I gained up. So these are the levels before I gained up. What do you think? And these are the levels after I gained up. Not too shabby considering the price point on this thing. So now let's do a test of the actual preamps on this. We're just going to listen with the SM7B, a very low gain microphone, at what these sound like when you amp them up. Now, I do also want to point out my computer in the background is running. The list of pros, it's pretty long here. It's a great unit. It's a great price. Has great preamps. Did I mention the price? I mean, it isn't the gain beast that the AudioFuse Studio is, but it's more than just an interface with the extras like the MIDI ins and outs, as well as a USB hub. And it's cheaper than its main competitor, the Scarlett series. That's a pretty big deal. As for the cons, I do kind of feel like I'm splitting hairs here, but here we go. Slightly worse build quality than the Scarlett. But I mean, who goes around knocking on their interface often? Also, while the software interface is nice, it would be nice to have a bit more control over other things than just the input-output. Having to reboot the computer after changing the sample rate is a bit much. You hardly ever have to do that, so I guess it's not that much of an annoyance. And honestly, the install of the actual interface is a tad weird. Not gonna lie. And I can see some people just falling straight off the track with it. For example, to install it, you have to plug it into your computer, and the computer recognizes it as a mass storage device, and the stuff you need is, it's in there. I mean, sure, but it's a little weird. Also, the VU meter on the front is only for the monitoring section. I get it. The peaking red on the knobs is great. but a bit more of a granular view of the mic levels would be amazing. Honestly, this interface is a winner. The whole series is priced cheaper than the nearest competitor. It has amazing specs that it lives up to, and I mean, really, doesn't besmirch the Arturia name one bit. It's an entry-level interface, don't kid yourself, but, well, it does it very, very well. Now, I also don't really focus on the included software, but this thing does come nicely equipped, by the way. Sure, all the interfaces come with something. Well, Arturia was a software company to start, so the plugins are actually pretty sweet. So what you get is Ableton Live Lite, pretty standard, Analog Lab Intro with tons of keyboard emulations, Arturia FX, which include plate reverb, an analog preamp, tape echo, and stereo chorus, and Native Instruments Guitar Rig 6 LE. Now, there are a couple other 3-month subscription services, but 3 months isn't a selling feature. Sorry, Arturia. So then, should you buy it? Well, as much as I stand here and say, yep, this is the one, better than the Scarlett, it may come down to use case and pricing. If cheaper, and at the moment it is, then yes, buy this. It's going to be impossible to beat this feature set at this price and at this quality. But if you don't need the feature set or the software, well, the choice is yours. But frankly, until the pricing on the Scarlett comes down a bit, this lineup is a no-brainer for really anyone. Links are below. Also, as promised, Arturia will be sending me one of these in the future to give away. In the near future, that is. I'm not sure how it's going to go yet or even when the unit's coming. For updates on that, though, I'll probably be posting those on my Twitter. There's a link below if you want to follow along on this saga. Also, if you like this video, you're probably going to like this one. It's the start of my love affair with Arturia. See you in the next video.